Well, you won't be shocked to hear the striker in here was somewhat bemused to hear Mo Salah say it doesn't matter who scores.
What's the matter with you? Of course it matters. You have to have the killer instinct if you're going to score goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, I think it was Jurgen Klopp who said a few weeks ago it's better to win 5 games 1-0 than 1 game 5-0, and that stands. But a 7-0 win against anybody, even Maribor, does wonders.
Like I was saying before, I think it's a confidence thing. The amount of games that he stood on the touchline this season and been so frustrated. You know, the game against Spartak, where they created chance after chance, at the weekend against Manchester United, getting into great areas but not having that cutting edge. And tonight, you know, the relief you could see, he had a big smile on his face at the end, Jurgen Klopp. And they deserved it. You know, they dealt with the game in a professional manner. Maribor were poor, but Liverpool thoroughly deserved, you know, the 7, and could have been 10.
It could, actually. 7 only tells some of the story, really. It was almost like a training session, wasn't it?
Well, it could be 10 in the next one at Anfield.
Yeah, it could, yeah.
Yeah. It was a training game, and it's great when you score early. I mean, it relaxes you, you go and play your football, and it's just nice to have a game with no stress. Yeah. You know, even as a player, forget a fan watching it, you know, as a player, it's nice to play in those games. And I thought Jurgen Klopp, you know, managed the team particularly well today. I didn't know whether Salah would play. He's obviously been on international duty, been the hero in Egypt, and he's so much pressure on him at the moment with Mane being out. But then they won the game. He brought him off early and obviously brought the Ox on, who probably needs minutes as well. Yeah, and got his goal. But Salah, perhaps in the absence of players like Lallana as well as Mane, instigates a press, which Klopp loves, and that's what leads to the first goal.
It did, yeah, today, and I think they all, you know, have this in them. It's the way, like I said, that, you know, that Klopp likes to play. He don't look like a player that needs rest to me. I mean, he's full of energy, he's on the front foot, and he's there, you know, he senses the opportunity to create a goal, and, you know, he set his team on the way. That really set the tone for the game, I felt, for Liverpool. Great awareness to kind of pick out his teammate Firmino, who's in a slightly awkward position, but manages to get his body into the right position to stick it into the back of the net, and it's the exact start that I felt that the team needed.
Yeah, yeah. Not long before 1 became 2. This, not so much a press, it's just a sweet move. Coutinho to the full. It was, again, they win the ball back. They're very good at winning the ball back, Liverpool. They press so well. Firmino, great hold-up play. Really important part of the game as a striker away in Europe is to keep the ball. And look at Milner here. You know, the position you're in dictates the ball that you play. He doesn't look at you know, he doesn't know what's behind him. However, you're running away from goal, so that dictates what cross you're going to put. And you can't get loads of power on, you're falling away. So you pull it back a little bit further from the goalkeeper. And then, obviously, we saw Coutinho winning the ball back in his own half, and he finishes the job off as well with a good side-foot finish. Yeah, you like the side foot on that. Again, winning it in a good area, Jermaine?
Yeah, I mean, Maribor were, you know, they caused their own problems a lot of the time. Why they thought they could pass their way through Liverpool, I don't know. But Liverpool were there waiting for them. You know, nice win of the ball from Firmino. Once he slides in Salah, he's only going to do one thing there. Goalkeeper's got to make himself far bigger than he does. He makes life easy, but again, a very clinical finish from Mo Salah. And at this point, you know, Liverpool are in cruise control, and that's pretty much game over. Yeah.
Got another one before half-time, and even if Mo Salah's not selfish enough to claim it, we've just about given it to him, Michael. Yeah, I mean, it's really strange. One of them surely knows that, unless they both touched it. On the pictures, it actually looked as if Firmino was the goal scorer. I thought it was Firmino when he first went in, but then when you look at it closely, you're not sure whether Firmino touches it onto Salah's foot. Just here. It's hard to read, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure Firmino touches it.
It looks like it does.
Yeah. It's whether Salah does as well. But anyway, I'm sure they'll sort it out between them eventually.
He has certainly hit the ground running, Salah, hasn't he? Whether he needs a rest or otherwise, time will tell. But he, in terms of the start he's made to his Liverpool career, it's been perfect. It's been brilliant. You know, that Liverpool are so well blessed, either side, really. They've got pace either side, which is great. And I said at the start that I can't believe how many chances he makes, because, again, I don't think he's, you know, an unbelievable finisher. But he gets that many chances every single game that his numbers are totting up, and he's nearly in double figures already, which is brilliant for, you know, for a wide man, essentially. So if he can keep that up, then it'll be well, it already looks a brilliant signing. Games of this type often die a bit of a death in the second half, don't they, because it's such a mismatch. And it did partly, but Liverpool did their best to keep foot to the floor. Yeah, I mean, look, at this point, the team's pairing with confidence, they really are. And, you know, it's fair play to Jurgen Klopp about whatever he said at half-time. He's managed to
just maintain that level of performance, whether it is, you know, the focus was now score more goals or whether it was to make sure we get a clean sheet. You know, they've come out with the right attitude, which has enabled them to go on and get the goals that they got.
Yeah. Eventually, fairly late, Oxlade-Chamberlain does get a lovely little pass from Sturridge and his first goal in the Liverpool shirt.
Well, again, winning the ball in dangerous areas, Liverpool are so good at it. Sturridge does that. He plays a perfectly weighted ball to the Ox, and it's a nice first touch. It's pretty simple in many ways. The goalkeeper just stands there, he doesn't run at him, he doesn't make himself big or anything, but you know, when you're straight on, then it's take your pick which corner, and obviously he just side foots it into the net.
Yeah, and then Alexander-Arnold via, I think it's Schuler's outstretched arm, as John Champion said, that pretty much summed up the centre-half's night, but he'd earned that, they'd earned that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's going wide or not, but he'll claim his second Champions League goal of his very young career. So, yeah, what a start that is to his Liverpool young career.
Absolutely, absolutely. First goal, though, for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he's talking to Andy May.
Alex, you had two views of that match, one on the bench and then you came on. Why was it so dominating for Liverpool?
I think we started with the right intensity. The manager said we come to these places, it'll be a tough game, can't be complacent, we need to give them our 100% effort. And I think the boys did that right from the off. Even at half-time, he was still pushing for us to do better and react again, because we thought they'd come out and give it a good go. So the boys reacted really well again after half-time, and ultimately we got everything we deserved, and you know, more to the point, we're more clinical today, and we're putting away all our chances, or near enough all of them.
It's the biggest win for Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. Was it coming, that big statement victory, just like the one against your old club, Arsenal?
Well, I feel like every week it feels like we've got a lot of goals in us, and it's just not clicking right at the final moment. So I think we create a lot of opportunities, and you know, I hear people saying the stats are always Liverpool have 20 shots a game. So if we keep doing those things, and that's the important thing, we keep creating chances and keep trying, hopefully they will come off for us, and tonight they did.
And how close do you feel you are to being in the 11 from the off in the Champions in the Premier League?
Look, you know, it's a competitive team that I've come into. You know, we're in an important part of the season where we want to get off to a good start, and we've got a few results that haven't gone our way. So, you know, everyone's fighting for their place, and I'm just ready for whenever I get the opportunity like tonight. I need to keep, you know, developing and learning the new style of play here and getting used to that. And then whenever I get my opportunities, try and do as well as I can.
Have a safe trip back.
Cheers, thank you.
I'm sure he'd love a start in any game. He certainly will enjoy the fact that he's up and running in terms of goals. We'll get some thoughts on that and the post-match trip, really. But when you even hear him talk after a 7-0 win, he is a manager you'd want to play for. He's got that bubbly enthusiasm, hasn't he? He
has got that enthusiasm. It rubs off. I think the players do like him. I think the fans love him. OK, I think the fans question why he hasn't done business from a defensive point of view, and that's leaving a few people scratching their head. But in terms of him and his enthusiasm and everything else, I think everybody's desperate for him to do well.
He says everyone's close. They've got Spurs on Sunday, and then a number of, you'd say, winnable fixtures, but that's a big game on Sunday at Wembley. Does Jordan Henderson definitely get back in? And for whom?
I would say he will play that game, Jordan Henderson. I think he has got probably a number of players that are reasonably close in that area. I don't think the midfield is a foregone conclusion in terms of the team that starts every week, but I do think, I mean, Jordan Henderson is the captain of the side, and he has played most of the games this year, so I envisage that he'll be back for that game, which is a huge game, obviously, at Wembley against Spurs this weekend.
Yeah, he was asked, obviously, about Oxlade-Chamberlain as well, whether he gets anywhere near a start. What does he have to do, other than, obviously, a goal tonight? How does he force the managers to pick him?
Well, I mean, it's not easy. You know, we've seen him clipped up a few of his bits here tonight, but how do you get in ahead of, you know, players like Salah and Coutinho? I mean, he's an attacking midfield player. I know he's played in central midfield areas before, but at the minute, how does he get in? He's got to be better than the others, and is he better than the others? I think he's a very good player, but I'm not sure he's better than Coutinho or Salah or Mane when they come in, or Lallana, and that's what he's up against. So, I mean, it's not going to be easy for him.
The best opportunity he can almost create for himself is that that kind of player, be that go-to player for those maybe big games that does a specific job. You know, because he's not as good as Mane, he's not as good as Lallana or Salah, who have that creative element, but he might bring something else, a bit more security, as well as an attacking option in certain games, and he can almost be that go-to person, you know?
You could almost see him competing more with Wijnaldum, for instance, as a box-to-box midfielder than an out-and-out attacking player, couldn't you?
Yeah, and then you're against, you know, the likes of Milner as well, and Chan and all these. So
and Keita when he comes, so yeah, that's what big clubs ask.
And that's, exactly. It's competitive, and obviously big squads nowadays, there's lots of games going around. We're early in the season. You know, I know there's a couple of injuries at the moment, but it will get worse during the season. Normally does. There'll be lack of form, injuries, suspensions, and he'll have to take his chance. He's done no harm tonight. He came on at the weekend against Manchester United, did fine as well. He just has to do it all the time, and still, you know, that might not be good enough because it's a strong, you know, attacking unit at the moment. Yeah.